I'm Gary Keever, G-A-R-Y-K-E-E-V-E-R. I'm in the Department of Horticulture, and we're here at the Toomer's Oaks. This morning, Dr. Stephen Enlow behind me and Dr. Art Chapelka and I have gone up in the lift to examine the trees. Our objective was to look at the structural integrity of the wood, determine if there's dead wood up in there, and try to assess how much dead wood there is, and also to examine the new foliage to see whether signs of herbicide poisoning was present or not. We've done that. Some of our early findings are that there is dead wood for sure up in the trees, and these branches, a couple branches were broken off up in the tree, but what we do is that you can tell the difference between live and dead wood by looking at the cambium, this layer of cells just underneath the bark. This shoot right here is obviously alive based on the new foliage that we have on it here. And by simply scraping the bark, we see that green coloration beneath the bark. This tissue is very much alive. And that's in sharp contrast to this branch right here. And just by looking at it, you can feel that it's a much drier wood, and it's because it's desiccated. As wood dies, it loses moisture. And as I scrape across it, you can see that there's nothing but brown tissue. So this shoot is dead. And we looked at the canopy. There's some sizable branches that are already dead up in the tree, but there are also many new shoots forming, new leaves developing that aren't showing any signs of herbicide poisoning. So in one sense, we expected there to be some dieback just based on the appearance of the trees going into fall and during the winter. We're optimistic that we are seeing the new foliage that's being formed on the trees, and we're going to continue to monitor the trees in terms of the reappearance of any of the signs of herbicide poisoning that we saw last year. Some other things that we're doing is we've started the trees on a liquid fertilizer program. Every 2 weeks we're going to liquid feed them with 100 parts per million nitrogen from a complete fertilizer with micronutrients. We're also going to take additional soil and foliage samples next week. Okay? And that's to give us an idea of how much herbicide might still be in the beds and out on the plaza, and also in the foliage of the trees. Okay? A third thing that we're going to do is that on March 26th, we're bringing a company in from Tennessee, and they're going to inject the trees with a sugar solution. Okay? You might ask, why would you inject the trees with a sugar solution? Well, the trees capture sunlight in the form of carbohydrates via photosynthesis. Spike ADDF or tebuthyron inhibit photosynthesis, so the trees aren't able to capture that sunlight, and over time they deplete any carbohydrate reserves that are in the tree. So we hope to inject these sugar solutions into the trunk. The trees take that solution up, translocate it to the foliage, and hopefully supply some of the food energy to sustain the trees for long. Okay? And so those are the three things that we're working on now. And with that, Art, Stephen, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
I think there will be very likely. I think it will be very likely that we will be doing some pruning here over the next few weeks. There is concern for a few limbs up in the tree, and we don't want them to become hazard limbs, and so we'll go ahead and be removing some of the dead wood over the next couple of weeks.
Could you say and spell your name for me, please?
Yes. Stephen Enlow, S-T-E-P-H-E-N-E-N-L-O-W.
And what's the title we need to use for you?
Associate Professor, Department of Agronomy and Soils.
Gary, do you mind giving him that microphone and let him say that again? I'm sorry. Just, yeah, briefly. Thank you.
Based upon some of the dead wood that we have found up in the trees, we would